Hey, hey, hey. Frank, we are live. Can you do the intro the way you normally do?
What do you mean you're live with the intro? Hello, guys. How are you? Frank Mola, being 40 at 40. Wow. So, this is quite interesting. So, we decided to do something new and something different, right? The show starts at 8:30. We said, well, let's try this new technology and see what's happening. We want to bring this to you live, and this is live. From my place, Venus is live from our place, guys. It's all about being 40 at 40. So today we're just going to have chit chats, conversations, talk about a number of things that, guys are going back to school, kids are going back to school. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to us? So, Venus, what's up? How are you?
I'm well. Of
Mhm.
course, being in our 40s, we kind of like lag behind when it comes to technology. I'm equally very excited about sijui ni app gani. My God, yani it's amazing to be able to interact with our fans, just on a live basis. So for
Yeah,
me, I'm learning every day, and I think that's one thing that I love about being on the fourth floor. You learn to be flexible.
correct.
Just like kids, watoto wakizaliwa, normally we say their minds are, their brains can expand. But at some point, we stop expanding. I mean, in terms of
Mhm.
how we think. That's why we're told to learn as much as we can when we are younger, so that in our old
Yeah,
age, we can be farming and doing other things that don't really require intellectual capacity. But
correct.
yes, I'm pretty excited. And Frank, today you look like a Nigerian. What's the occasion?
No, 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 no. I don't look like a Nigerian. Please, excuse that. So, today we were having some small
No,
celebration
tuseme tu
somewhere.
kweli. I mean,
We were having some small celebration somewhere. So Nika decided, let me dress the celebration part. Vina.
sawa uga. Yes, you are on point today. So
Mhm.
anyway, Frank, watoto wanarudi shule, and now I'm sure you're a father. Of course, you're a father to a teenager. I hope ako class 8, because that is what is
No,
current. I
no.
mean, kids are going back to school. All parents are panicking. Like for me, I'm just thinking, how would I want my kid to be in a class? And I gather from my friends in Europe, there's a new wave of COVID that has
Yeah,
struck Europe because of the winter season.
correct.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on this issue?
I mean, Vina's quite interesting. There's a lot of uncertainty around it. I still say that, even despite the fact that we have all these plans of going back, to school. There's a lot of, the government is saying this and that. But honestly speaking, it's not very clear. And I think there's hesitation to go back. There are people who are thinking, should we have our kids go back to school now? Should we wait until maybe we see what really happens? Because look at it this way. Um, Apart from maybe international schools, where in a class you have around 20 per class. Maybe we see what really happens, because look at it this way. I mean, the other guys where you're going to, to a public school and you have to be around 60 people in a class, how do you social distance? The other day I was just having a conversation with my friend and I asked myself, when was the last time you saw a new school being put up? When was the last time you saw a new public school or a city council school being put up? I mean, when? How long ago was that? I don't think that happens anymore, you know? So you can
True.
imagine. Mhm.
Mm,
It's been a while. So I think for me, generally,
I don't
um,
know, but at the end of the day,
mhm.
mm-hmm. Sorry, I
Go ahead.
interrupted.
Go ahead. No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
What I
ahead,
was
Vina.
saying is, number one,
Yeah.
first of all, public schools. Like today, I
Yeah.
was driving back home, and we have like a public school just around where I live. Currently, it's class 8 and grade 4 who are back to school, isn't it? And of course, fourth formers.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, just your capacity, class 8 and grade 4, there were so many. And I was thinking, would I really want my daughter or my son to be in such a place where, because kids are kids. basically when you're a child, it's all play and less reading, basically. So, and having these kids, because they've been away from school, they're pretty excited, and of course interactions equal.
Yeah.
Don't greet, don't do this, okay?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm really, really worried about my kids being in that space where they are predisposed to this COVID.
Correct.
The only consolation I have is human science says that kids can actually fight the virus, just like us guys. I mean, literally, if you observe, the measures and all that, and you take your zinc and vitamins and all that, all will be okay. But still,
Yeah.
our immunity levels are very, very different. I personally have embraced online reading. My kids have never stopped learning. By the way, right from the time COVID struck, they have been in school. They have attended school as per the regulations. They've gone on midterms and all that. So I'm glad. And I'm thinking maybe that is the way to go. I think someone ought to start, and people who can invest actually in online studies, I think this is the time, because most of us parents have enjoyed being in the same space with our children, of course, watching them learn, helping them with homework and all that.
Yeah.
So I feel this is the way to go. I don't know how it has been
So
for you, Frank. Hapo
it's
ukiwa
it's
home,
quite
with your
interesting. I
kids.
mean, when you're saying they've gone back to school, is it online you're talking about or physical school? That's
Yes,
online, right?
online.
Let me tell you, the beauty you realize, and it's so funny when we think about COVID and going back to school. One, kids were in the house. I think their immunity systems might have gone low because they're not so much exposed, right? So when they go back, we should expect a lot of influx, like kids being taken to hospital because now they're being exposed again to the environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling all of a sudden hospitals we start seeing an increase pediatricians, and you'll be like, my child is unwell and everything else. But if you think of even going back to school, separate from the school itself, how do you tell a child who's leaving home, used to walking to school, by the time they get to school, the mask is gone, the sweater they don't know it's where? It's like, where does it start? Because from the house you live and you have everything, but by the time this child gets, a child is a child, honestly speaking. And you
Correct.
cannot stop them from doing what they want to do. By the time they're leaving school and even going home, unless you say maybe they're being picked and dropped, but in public schools, I mean, or even certain schools, they'll have to walk home. By the time this child gets home, vumbi, kila kitu, and you're like, my son, what do we do? So it's a bit complicated, as much as, yes, we want to sit back and say the schools to observe certain regulations, but between your house, the bus stop, if they're going to use public means, getting into that public means, transport, getting to school, or if they're walking in between there, there's still that risk. But again, as parents, what we have to do is we have to make sure that we have sanitizers, we have the temperature, what is it called? The thermometers or what?
Thermometer, correct.
Yeah. And make sure your kids are eating healthy, because now it's more a prevention. But they're going to be exposed definitely, and it's still a risk. Yes.
But I'm pretty much interested, Frank, in knowing how you view everything. Knowing that now you are in your 40s. I'm sure if you're in your 20s, ungekimbia tu haraka, embrace the system, and But how has being 40 changed your perception? And especially when it comes to this issue of COVID, what is current right now, and our children going back to school?
No, I mean, honestly speaking, I'll tell you. I mean, you sit back and you say a number of things have changed. One, even just apart from going back to school, there are parents who I had saying, I need a break now, man. They need to go back. I need a break. Because remember, you are the parents, you're the class teacher, you're the head teacher, you're the disciplinary teacher, almost you're the board. There are times you have to call yourself for a meeting because you're playing all these parts. So one minute you're a parent, the next minute you're a class teacher. So you have to call yourself for a meeting and say, as a parent now, I'm a class teacher now, I'm a principal now, and it's all that. But I think patience, being humble, that is humility. There's a number of things you learn about your kids. There's a number of things you see. There's that connection. Some parents are feeling like we cannot release our kids to go because they've gotten so attachment. Some of them are even thinking of homeschooling. Some on the other side are saying, honestly speaking, I just need kids to go back to school because we can have a break and all that. So I think for me at 40 now, if I was going back to school, class 4, class 8, man, me, I would be so excited. Like, finally, I'm being released. Nitoke niende, let me go and play na kila kitu. But now there's technology. Look at it. I mean, you and I, we are talking now. It's live, right? We are able to stream live. But when you're going to school, Nairobi River, then, my friends, I'm not gonna be easy. So
that is how many years ago, Frank? Over 35 years.
Like 30 plus years back.
Yes.
Way back. So times are different. Technology has evolved. We have to embrace it. And that's just life. So I think our kids are growing in an environment which is both favorable, but at the same time might have its own disadvantages. In our times, I think if COVID came up then, I really don't know what you would have done. Maybe they were just shut. There would be no online, right? But now at 40, you sit back and appreciate the fact that laptops, the number of laptops that kids have, the number of laptops that are
and
out
phones.
here, and phones. Now, even when they go back to school, you think about it. What are the schools that have computer labs? What will they do with those labs? Because now each child almost has a laptop. And they don't want to carry somebody's laptop to school. I don't know. I'm just thinking, what happens? Because they don't want to go and touch.
I think the government did not. The government did not consider this kind of transition because, you see, first of all, these kids have now been, in psychology, we say you can be conditioned. Okay, any behavior can be learned, it can be unlearned, and it can be relearned. That's a way of conditioning, the human brain. So these kids have been conditioned for the last almost 7 months, to be, to have capacity to be in a classroom and not really interact with other people per se, courtesy of technology. Now, when they go back to the social spaces, and especially for the kids who are in Form 1, Form 2, the older kids, the teens, it's going to be pretty difficult because they have their own demands right now, okay? And nowadays, by the way, we always say there was the millennials, the centennials, and all that, yeah? So every generation has its own demands, okay? And it has its own behavioral traits. And these kids nowadays are more pro solution, they create, they are like, I always see my kids trying to give me solutions to my problems. They'll tell, do this. My daughter will set up this, this laptop for me when I want to go live and all that. So now it will be a challenge between the kids and the teachers, why are we here? We can always be at home, So I feel the government did not see this coming, but there's going to be a lot of hitches as the kids now transition back into the norm. Okay.
Yep.
And I just pray that we're not going to go back into where we started from, because now, as we are seeing, the cases are rising. But for me, let me speak for me as a woman in my 40s. Yeah. I personally, Frank, let me tell you, you've said that you want the kids to go back. Mimi, I don't want my kids to go back. I have enjoyed. And Frank, let me tell you, I know you so well because we are always meeting co-flights. You travel pretty much. And the same thing for me. Personally, I've raised my kids, just globetrotting. But now, for once, I was glued to my house, with a few, I used to work once in a while, but I enjoyed the fact that I could be, in this space with my children. And I would want this to continue. I would really want this to continue because I feel like, my family has been bonded back together. Because otherwise, my house was a transit station for me. And I used to raise my kids through remote. Yani, it was like, now the reverse is happening, where I used to use the remote to raise them. Now, it's the technology now that is working for me in terms of doing work and all that. So for me, I I'm really, really enjoying this season. And if, as I said, if there's someone who can come up with a good, online school that is quite
Yes.
affordable, I would consider it. Think about this.
Okay.
Mi
Okay.
unajua naishi Ushago. Yeah,
Oh.
I stay in Ushago. So by the time my kids get to Nairobi, having gotten
Yeah.
a few visas on the way, I mean, they wasted another 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. Basically, by the time they're coming here in the evening, they're normally very tired, and especially for my
I can
11-year-old.
imagine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now, do you know they wake up, like class starts at 9, they wake up at 8:50. 9 wako class, they'll have breakfast during the break. Okay. After 3 o'clock, they're free. They can do gardening. They can, for once, I just feel like, Yani, I don't know. And for those who are viewing, who are watching us right now, what are your comments about this? Because Mimi, as a woman, I'm really enjoying. Watu wanateseka ni the fathers. Nyinyi ndio mmezoea
What do you mean?
kwenda
What
kuwatch
do you mean?
football kwa bar, and I'm
Eh?
not calling names. Nyinyi ndio mmezoea sijui having business meetings until 9 o'clock, so you're never there for dinner and all that. Sijui you're the ones hanging out with your boys. Sisi, life is still happening. As you know,
Yeah.
women, we are homemakers. So we are enjoying having our husbands at home. We are enjoying just having the children at home, even our pets. Yani, for once, me, I'm just saying glory, glory, glory. Let this continue. From
Yeah, but
as a
Venus,
Christian, I'm saying let this
Venus,
continue.
Venus, very soon you might be going back to work. Very soon you might be going back to travels. I'm sure they have started and everything else, right? So I think, yes, it's a good thing. But you see that the toughest part of the online classes is where you cannot supervise the same way the supervision is done in class. Because remember, there is somebody who is specialized in teaching. That's their job. They know what to do, how to do it. It's different subjects having different teachers and under supervision. But here you have online where they're using videos, yes. Sometimes the story is my video is not working, so I'm just going to listen to the audio. Some of them have their phones on the side. They're chatting friends, or they're doing certain things on their side at the same time, right? A number of things tend to happen when you're at home. I mean, you've mentioned the good part of bonding, being with family, having fun and everything else. But remember, when they wake up and they're in their rooms, a lot of discipline is called for. A lot of it. And then what is happening here is you wake up in the morning, you shower, if they shower, some of them, you shower. The beauty of you waking up, you shower, then you step out. By the time you get to school, there's some activity that has happened and your brain kidogo umechangamka na kila kitu iko fresh. This one, umeamka, you've gone straight to a desk that is just next. So even that transition adjusting, I think the level and the quality of education will go lower. It will not be the same. So again, if you look at hizo vitu zingine, unakaa unasema, these kids are sitting for too long, jump from bed straight to the seat the whole day, and then in the evening maybe they'll try to walk here and they'll just try to. But for me, I think it goes beyond the fact that we're just doing homeschooling. It goes beyond the fact that it's online, because kuna hizo, hebu fikiria PE. How do you do PE? How do you do sports? It's part of the curriculum. Ama ndizo unasema stories za garden, wanaenda kufanya sijui nini kwa garden, and they're going to do.
Si unasimama kwa screen. See, the way we are told that sijui simameni, I mean, it's doable.
Stand and stretch. And so, I mean, honestly speaking, one, people are ready. In Kenya, I think people are ready to go back to school next year, and guys are already clicked that they're going to rewind. And then for a second, they said, no, we are going to do it again. Then they're like, no, we're not doing it. Then now it's like, guys, you're opening this date. But now the school is saying, no, we're not ready. Parents will come back this date. These classes will come back this date. It's still not very clear, right? It's still, are they going to repeat class 4, class 8? What does that mean? Will they still do exams? What will be the quality and output of that exam, right? So there's a lot of uncertainty with parents. Not sure if going back and it's been planned well, but hey, guys have to go back because the government has said, let's go back.
Mm. And by the way, before we continue, I just want to say a big shout out to Dennis Njao. My God, you are one of our biggest fans. So thank you so much for watching with us. As we said, this is the first time we are doing this. Let us hear from you guys. Like, what's your view about this? How often would you like us to do this? And we'd like to make it more of an interaction section, like where we chat, mnatupa maswali, especially for those guys who are below 40. Watu wa 50 mtulize, don't ask us questions because clearly the wisdom, we are looking up to you guys. So for me, I'd really, I'm by the excitement, it will take time before it dies because I couldn't believe, like we can do this like side by side, we are able to chat. And I think Frank, because both of us, really travel a lot, this is something we can do when you're uko kwenye unaendanga Paris, whatever, we can always continue having these sessions, because one thing that we have had, especially now, I'm sure most of our fans have noticed that a couple of times, once or twice, we have not been able to nini because I have been working or Frank has been, working, so we've not been able to do our shoots as usual. But let us hear from you, like what do you guys think about this? Would like to continue trying this, but yes, we'll have our chat and dance. Yes, of course, lazima niwaoneshe the new moves I've been practicing. Cows we have. I saw Irene commenting. Irene Koki, a big shout out to you. 2 left legs. That is how we are, Sisi Wakao. But yeah, they can always be corrected. So hoping to hear more from our viewers. Frank, hata nimesahau kile nilikuwa nataka kukuuliza by the way. How is your son? And what does he feel about this thing? Now we've talked about our own perception as parents. Yeah. What is your son saying about this?
No, there's excitement. I mean, there's excitement of going back. It's been like, I can't really wait to go back. You're going into looking at uniforms, like, does my uniform fit me? My friend, my son, you look at other kids, people have added weight without even realizing because they've been sitting, eating, sleeping. So a new uniform that we bought in January, which they've not really been wearing now, they put on you like the buttons are all opening up like this. So, but there's a lot of excitement, looking forward, planning like to go and see their friends who they've not seen for so long. They've just been talking or meeting up once in a while, going for things like sports, really excited about going for things like sports, just to continue and be it basketball, etc. They still don't know how that is going to play out. But I can see that looking forward of, I'm going back to school next week, or this is going to happen. And so for me, I'm seeing that excitement, so much of it in terms of looking forward to going back. And I think it's because either missing the school setting and also missing the friends or something like that. And also just getting that break of away from, I mean, daddy, you guys make us stress kidogo, what's up here, me, I go back and enjoy myself. So that's how it is.
For me, it's pretty different from you. I think boys are different. My girls are like, wow, mom, we don't want to go back to school. Yeah, what about Corona? We don't want to, so they have a very different, perspective about this whole thing. And I think wewe Frank ni vile umekuwa mkali kwa nyumba. Some of us, we have been gentle with the kids. They've enjoyed the nini. You might have been a bit rough on your boys. And allow me, even as you hang on to that thought, let me read something from Dennis. He says that get the setup for when one of you is at the Maldives and the other one is in New York. Great setup. Yes, Dennis. Of course, we are going to do this very soon. Thank you for that feedback. We will ensure that at least we show you. There's this car. Is it Wanderlust Diary? And I think, Frank, you really post a lot in that group.
No.
Where people just showcase where they've traveled and all that.
I did once.
So in the future, we will be showcasing where we will be. Not that we want to brag, but at least we want to keep this going on. Now that things, it's back to business kind of thing, yeah, where people now are, of course, the airspaces have opened. like KQ has been tried. Of course, people have been, sorry, the airline has been operating to other destinations like London, Dubai, okay, pole too, you know. So for us, Frank, we just need to make sure that we are not also left behind by technology. Now, this is a point where we would have been doing the dance setup, yeah.
But
Sasa
this is a
sijui
point where
tutafanya
you come
nini
in and
because we need to
no,
conclude.
this is a point you come and talk about mind spa. So I sit back and I listen to talking about your mind spa moment, like, you know, hapa ndo tumefika mambo ya counseling, my mind spa moment about going back to school. Hapa ndo unaleta zile vitu ulifundishwa shule, una
The
revise.
psychological part.
Psychological part,
Okay,
yeah.
sawa sawa. So let me do this. Of course, we are used to the tararara, the music and all the intro. But yeah, hey guys, again. Yes, this is Venus Chengo. This is how we do it. This is Venus Chengo, and this is the Mind Spa moment where we talk about psychological facts. Now, our kids are going back to school, and I want to particularly address the parents of for formers and class 8 students. Right now, as we say, we don't even know what the future holds because of the uncertainty that is there when it comes to COVID. But at the end of the day, all that your child needs right now is support. And when I'm talking about support, I mean the psychological support, leave alone even the physical one, where you're able to cheer up your child and let them know that everything is going to be okay. It's been pretty a tough season. You can imagine a child going almost 6 months. Maybe they were very excited about, right now where they would have been sitting for their exams. But again, now things changed and now they're back to class, maybe to sit for their exam somewhere mid, year next year. So at the end of the day, it can be really, really discouraging. It can actually cause depression and anxiety in your child. But you know what? As a parent, this is the time you step in. We say that parenting is not only about, the support. It's also about modeling. Kids read a lot from us. So if you're able to just portray that confidence and be there for your child, just as you have been for the last 7 months, where we were able to,
Yep.
work with our children, then I think your child should be able to perform well. So once again, this is the Mind Spa moment, and this is Venus Chengo. Over to you, Frank, for brutal facts.
Wow. I mean, every time you talk about psychological moments, I have to reflect a bit and see how I can link that. But good enough, guys. Again, once again, it's really amazing for us to try this new stream. It's a live stream. Venus is on the other side. I'm on this side. It makes it really easy for us because of our schedule, our work schedule, sometimes being on travel. You're not able to record, but we're just going to be doing this live so that coming to you from different locations. And it's quite an interesting technology. I'm really enjoying it. Now, let's come to brutal facts. There's one thing I always say, that as much as our children are planning to go back to school, let's not give them a lot of pressure with books. Let's not sit back and tell them 100%, you have to keep on reading. But let's instill some discipline in our children. Let them more have discipline as opposed to just sitting back and saying, you need to pass. I learned something yesterday from a very, very good friend of mine from Kyoto School. And when I visited the school, he told me, Frank, here, we do not teach children. We do not teach subjects. We teach children. That's a subject we teach. And the setting by which they had done, to enable the kids when they're coming back during this COVID era, is what are quite it's very engaging and everything else. And that really caught my mind when it made sense, okay, you don't teach subjects, you teach children. That's really amazing, right? As your child is going back to school, also, we've learned a lot of things. Also, just ask yourself, don't put so much pressure on the child. Give them some room as well. Engage with them, talk to them. It's a transition, 7 months being at home. Now they have to go back again. Be close to them, monitor them. Just try and see, even if they have the masks, sanitization, you name it, keep on checking the temperatures as they go and they come back. And always do your 10-10-10 in everything that you do, all right? If you're not sure that you want your child to go back to school and you still want to do online, and there's that possibility, like Vina said, that's a preference. then just go ahead and do that. But if it's something totally different where you feel it's okay for them to go, the school is well prepared as well, go ahead and do that. But remember, as a parent, you also have a responsibility to be able to manage that and all that conversation also to happen. So thank you very much, Brutal Facts. Frank Mola, we are going back to being 40. Venus.
Yes, before we wind up, yes, I want to read a comment
it's quite
from
interesting. I'm feeling, like I'm on live TV, so presenters uko hivi
VVIP mode. Where
sijui iko aje.
Tuliza, your time is coming, eh? Your time is coming. Utaenda State House. Yes, Moses Sisiema anasema Mombasa to Kolok. So thank you so much, Moses. Thank you,
I know,
Dennis.
Moses.
Thank you, everyone who's watching. Santo, I can see all of you guys. But unfortunately, time is not on our side. Actually, by 9, I'm normally like in dreamland. Yes, this is how we roll in our 40s. Personally, I'm an early bird. But today, I'll actually, buy myself a gift or do something. Yeah, to just congratulate myself. May extend by 1 hour, courtesy of being 40. So it's been awesome, pretty awesome, just doing this thing with you, Frank, and our producer, Kerry. Thank you so much for the effort, for the idea. So we just want to hear from you guys out there. What are your thoughts on this? Mkishatuambia, we'll know whether to keep on rolling like this ama we just go back to Adini. Unfortunately, today we cannot dance because nikisimama hii screen, it will not be able to contain my mass. I'm overweight. But next time we will do a setup whereby in our comfortable spaces we can be able to dance. So from me, let me just say thank you so much. If you're watching us for the first time, please click the subscribe button and then like and share. At least Squeezy, I've learned how to do it, and with time I'm getting better. So share this out to anyone. Let us impact this generation. And of course, we are always saying our right is not the only right. Nimeba from Frank. Yeah, our right is not the only right. Just by the fact that we are in our 40s doesn't mean that whatever we say is true. We would also like to hear from you. Share the wisdom with us. Also, let us know what you'd want us to talk about. If you're in your 30s, if you're in your 20s, what is this thing that is a challenge to you? Because we have walked that road. We would like to help you avoid those loopholes. Because sisi hatukuambiwa, we have gone through. That's why we have these wrinkles, That's why, my patches, my vidonda. Yes, but God has been good. So that is it from me. Over to you, Frank, even as we wind up.
Well, I think you've captured it all well, Venus. Our right is not the only right. The other thing is, of course, we always say that the brain, if the brain was an app, maybe everybody would use it. If we tell them the brain is an app, they would use it. But parenting, I think we've come and appreciated the fact that teaching is not an easy thing. You pay school fees and you let your child go there, but it's not an easy thing. For the last 7 or 8 months, it's not been easy. It's been tough. And, it's just telling you parents out there, you need to give yourself a tap on the back, on the shoulders for the amazing work you've done and you still continue to do. That's what our teachers go through, man. Every time waking up, trying to check homework, trying to confirm they've done everything that they're supposed to do, because you're a parent, you're a teacher, you're a disciplinary teacher, you're the head teacher, probably you're the treasurer, the bazaar, everything else. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Totally amazing. I think for me, the exciting bit was is the technology. I'm still fascinated, as in Nagiona, and it's live. So it's really cool. And actually, I can see you, it's like side by side, it's really amazing.
Yes.
Ni kama unajua uko CNN ama nini unafanya interview
ni kako ka feeling aki CNN wanafaa watu invite. People out there, please invite us. We are just feeling like all of a sudden we have self-actualized and we are just feeling there's this nice feeling that we have. So please, yes, if you're out there, I'm a New York, you what? Anyway, Frank, pole kwa interrupt.
No worries. No, it's been real, guys. Thank you. I mean, part of the reason why we started late was we were trying this technology and it's really working. Subsequent Fridays, it's still gonna be at 8:30 because we've confirmed it's working. If you tell us it's the way to go, we feel it's the way to go because of our schedules. And this is what we're gonna do. So thank you once again for being with us. We're not gonna dance, but we'll still try to see how we can sneak in some dances and everything else. So that's it for me. It's all about being 40, guys. Thank you very much. Until next week, Friday. For me, it's good night, guys.
Good night, guys. But before we leave, before DJ atutoe kwa screen, please, we are enjoying this moment. Let me shout out to Isabella. Anasema Bremen, locked in late. Isabella, we appreciate you. Actually, you have a badge of a top fan. There's also Karina Ogila. Wow, this was my high school mate. Yani locked, fully locked, Aqua America. So Frank, we are international. Thank you so much for all of you who've been able to, keep it locked here. Let us know your views. And yes, sasa tutangoja. Frank, this is where you pause. You wait to be removed from the screen. See, come as Zoom at you left. You wait. But for our viewers, we love you so much. We are looking forward to your comments on this. So, katu hapo ungoje. Let's imagine we are dancing. Over to you, TJ.
Okay. So, bye,
guys.